Welcome back into Coach's Corner East, the Colonel Crawford portion of tonight's show. I'm your host, Mike Sparks. I am each and every week on Wednesday night. Glad to have you aboard. Our show is brought to you in part by the Burkhart family at the Burkhart Farm Center, your Case IH dealer straight west of Gallion on the Manette New Winchester Road. Mike Kleinite at Ag Credit Residential Lending, Bucyrus, Mount Gilead, and Marion. Sweet Baby Ray Jones and Kendra Weaver at Ohio Door and Sash, 120 South Street in Gallion, and Mark Osborne at E-Crane International, Route 598 at the north edge of Gallion. Jake Bruner joins us again as we review Week 8 over at Wynford and get ready for Week 9 at home against Mohawk. And you go on the road to arguably your biggest rival, Battle of the Iron Plow, a traveling trophy that's gone back and forth. And you take care of the Royals, who were having a tough season, but you had to take care of yourselves. You came out, you did the job, won 49-7. Now 6-2 overall, 3-2 in the Northern 10 Conference, and first time in nearly 40 years that Colonel Crawford has defeated Wynford 3 straight years, and that margin of victory was the largest in the long-time rivalry. And it was really an interesting start. I was at the game up in the press box, so I got to see it. And you opened with a 3-and-out, netting -5 yards before recovering a Royal fumble on their third play. Crawford moved down to the Wynford 14-yard line before turning it over on downs. And then after Wynford punted, after a 3-and-out, you guys got rolling. Talk about the start and kind of how you thought it went.
We knew that when we went to Wynford that we would get their best effort, and we did. And we knew it wasn't going to be easy, so we were very, we were conscious of that. And we knew that it wasn't going to be one series or one play or anything like that. They have some really good players, and I think for us, just kind of seeing where people were, seeing how we're going to attack them in that first series was kind of what we needed to do, throughout the game. They caused you some problems with some good players that they have. So,
as a fan of the game and as a guy that knows what's going on and things along that line, and a guy in the media that can question coaches and things like that, what was the mindset between you and the rest of your coaching staff when you're moving down there on that second drive and not trotting Braxton Morton out to kick a field goal in lieu of trying to get a touchdown and then eventually turning over on downs?
We told our kids that we wanted to be in a rival game. We want to be aggressive. We don't want to be patient and those things in rival games. So we wanted to be aggressive offensively, we want to be aggressive defensively, and we want to be aggressive in our special teams. And we have a lot of confidence in Braxton Morton. He makes a lot of points. But at the same time, in those types of games, we just felt that we needed to be aggressive in every phase of the game, so we kind of stayed with that mantra.
After you turned it over on downs and then got the ball back from Wynford punting, you scored on the next 5 possessions, and as I said, your offense really got it going. Cam Lord to Ryan McMichael, 26 yards. Tanner Dyer, 6-yard run. Lord to Trevor Vogt, 39-yard run. Lord to Kleiner, 14-yard score. Lord ran it himself for 37 yards and a TD, and that's where things really started going, and you took that lead in the halftime. You took the momentum, and you're going to get the ball to start the second half. Or no, they actually got the ball to start that second half. That's right. But once you guys started rolling, to me, it looked like a stone running downhill, and that's kind of your personality, isn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of how it's been. And if you look at football, that's really how it goes. When you break a game open with 21 points or more, it really usually gets that way. It's always a blowout. If you look at the statistics, after 18 points, it usually gets going that way. So, it was good that our kids got to that point, and then I thought they put the hammer down well, and I was proud of their effort both sides of the ball.
I tell you, as a fan again, I was extremely impressed with not only what Cam did, but Trevor Vogt's a special athlete, and sure, he's got to get open. There's got to have the linemen have to make time for Cam. Cam's got to throw a nice ball, but boy, he just gets after. He's so athletic, and he gets up there and gets the ball. He's a major weapon.
He is, and a lot of people, you can see that he runs very well. He cuts very well, so it's very pointing with what he does. But it's not just what he does on offense and defense. It's what he does on kick returns, and smartly so. Many people don't kick to him these days.
Sure.
But when he does touch the ball, it is dynamic. But a lot of those things happen too. because of what we do up front and how well we run the ball and how people are scared of us running the ball. And that opens those receivers for routes and things like that.
After a third quarter turnover on downs to start the second half, Crawford scored on back-to-back possessions on a Kleiner 3-yard run and lured a Derek Horsley 18-yard pass to cap the scoring. 6 different players scored. You got to love the fact that you can spread out the love, so to speak.
We do, and it was evident Friday night. I thought Cam did a good job of getting the ball to the person that was open. You know, they were focused on Vogt or focused on this player, and then I thought he did a great job of kind of managing the game.
Because I've interviewed you guys all week or all year, and I know kind of what your thumbprint is. You like to run the ball, you like to kill clock. I was shocked when I saw that you threw for 252 yards and 4 TDs. Was that based on just something you saw from them, film watching defensively, that you could take advantage of that?
A little bit of both. I mean, we actually, it's funny enough you say it, we missed about 3 throws, and most of them were early, that were kind of like quick hitches that we overthrew, or, you know, one of our scat plays we overthrew. So we kind of missed the easy ones, and then Cam hits a lot of big ones we felt like that were on the money, and so we kind of laughed a little bit about that. But really wasn't, like I said in the paper, you know, the Skidmore boy is a very good football player.
Yes, he is.
He is hard to move on the defensive line. We have some really good players, but to block him in space all the time is a consistently tough thing to do. And you add Cohen Keith to one side of that, and you add the Blair speed at linebacker. They create problems for you that you have to do some different things. So, you know, once we could identify what we thought we would do best at, and we were able to do that and kind of go from there.
Take a break here. We'll talk to the young men around the table. We're brought to you in part by Lee Plimo and Brad Seibert at the Plimo Insurance Group, Galleon and Bucyrus, North Central State College, Mansfield, and the Crawford Success Center, North Walnut Street across from the courthouse in Bucyrus, Phil and Sue Schreck at Phil's Deli, just east of the Pizza Hut here in Galleon at the Bridge, and John Rolls at John's Auto Repair Specialist, 800 Scott Street in Crestline. And a lot of familiar faces that have been here a number of weeks. It's great to see him back again. Jacob Lucius is here as a junior, and congratulations on your big win. Were you a little surprised that you kind of sputtered coming out those first 2 drives offensively, didn't get much going, had -5 yards the first series, and are you starting to think, oh crap, whoa, we better wake up? What was that mindset on not only the huddle but the sideline as well?
I mean, mindset's like, that's how we've been somewhat most of the year. We start off a little slow and then just pick it up from there.
What's the kind of the catalyst that all of a sudden you go from kind of running your tires in the mud to 5 straight possessions with 5 straight touchdowns? What's that catalyst there?
I think the nerves are just wearing off, and then we're finding out where they're lining up and everything, and we just play how we play.
Yeah, just keep doing the job. You got Mohawk coming in this week, a team that struggled early and then kind of found its way. Tough loss for them, maybe controversial loss, however you want to refer to it last week. But Mohawk always is going to be ready to play. You have your final 2 games at home of the regular season. What are you doing this week to prepare for them?
I mean, this week we know that if they beat us, they're in the playoffs, so they're ready to go. I mean, we've just been more intense this week and just picking up and going faster and playing more physical.
All right. Well, good luck. Enjoy it. Have a lot of fun, and thanks a lot for coming. It's great to see you again. Kanye Wilcox is next, and Kanye, it's such a nice job to get a win like that, a rivalry game, and you got a traveling trophy. And how long do you guys think about that? Where you kind of have to let that go and say, we're on to week number 9.
We don't hang on to it. You just trying to drag these fingers, working hard, and getting on to the next game.
Yeah, so you celebrate a little bit Friday night, maybe into Saturday, and then it's on to the next week. Anything surprise you about what Wynford did there early on, especially defensively, that maybe caught you guys off guard?
Yeah, I don't think that he celebrated come out and stop lose yards
So the stuff that Trevor does in a game, you see that during practice? Does he do that kind of crazy stuff in practice too?
Yeah, he does. He goes hard.
He's a pretty dynamic player. Well, I wish you good luck this week against Mohawk. It should be a great atmosphere. Weather should be great. It's great football weather. And you're home for the last 2 weeks heading into the playoffs. So have a lot of fun with that. And it's Nevin Sinnett. Sinnett! You did correct. Sinnett. Okay. Devin Sinnott, thank you for correcting. I appreciate that. It's great to have you back. And you played Saturday morning, did you?
Yeah,
Against Wynford?
I was able to get in for a couple minutes Friday night.
Friday night, good. That's a neat experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was the first time I actually went on a Friday night against the varsity.
Oh, did you?
When I go on Friday night, it's their JVs in it well, but
Yes.
Wynford decided they were going to try to stay in and hang in and try to score as much as they could to make a stop.
That's an excellent point, because it actually surprised me a little bit when I kept seeing some of their starters trot out there. I'm like, that's kind of interesting. But, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And so that had to be a neat experience for you.
Oh, yeah. It gave me a little picture of what varsity is. I do good in JV games, and that was tough. Skidmore is really good, and he was the one I was lining up against, so I had a pretty tough time dealing with him.
Yeah, well, it's a good atmosphere to you to get that experience, so that worked out. Did you end up beating them in JV then too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think we
31-6.
Okay, all right.
Oh yeah, they did score.
Now that this will be your last JV game coming up this week, right?
If we beat Mohawk this week, then we'll be 9.
All right, very good. Congratulations. Well, enjoy Friday night. I hope you get in Friday night, get some more experience, and good luck in your final JV game as well.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for coming. And Tim Faulkner is back. It's good to see you. And now, did you play? I don't remember. Did you get in on Friday even with that?
Yep.
Okay, so you had it wrapped and you were good to go. Everything worked out fine. It's always fun to get a win. It's always fun to beat your rival. I'm going to ask you, was there much trash talking or was it pretty clean? I didn't see much, but I wasn't down in the middle of it either.
It was pretty clean. I didn't really worry about it, even when they did trash talking. I didn't really worry about it because I don't let it worry. Depending on their actions.
Okay. I've talked to a lot of players over the years around this area that face Mohawk. And one thing they'll say is Mohawk is probably the most physical team they face all year. And they're going to bring it. They're fighting for their playoff lives. What have you done this week to prepare for what the Warriors are going to bring on Friday?
We're being more physical to make sure that we're all going fast because we know that they got speed too and they're really physical, as you said, which is true they are. But we also have to keep the same mindset we got. Since we're already rolling, coming off a rivalry win, we like that, but we want to keep it going. We don't. It's just the way we keep going.
Train kept it rolling, right? All right. Well, good luck. Enjoy it. Have a lot of fun. Take one more break here. We'll come back and talk to Coach Bruner about Week 9. The show's brought to you in part by Steve Kurtzman and Associates at Innovative Recycling, 352 South Street, Galleon. Coach Tim Plumley at Mohican Sports Medicine in Bucyrus. John Cross at Cross Carpet and Custom Floor, 302 North Seltzer Street, downtown Crestline. And Coach, this is the playoff talk of the show, and we need to talk about that. And according to Joe Idle, which is kind of the well-known representative of high school football playoffs in Ohio, you have clinched a playoff spot. Currently sitting at 8th spot, which would get you a home game, averaging 9.65 points. You're ahead of Margaretta, who is at 9.5152, behind Hopewell Loudon at 9.7125, and I asked Coach Dick if he and his coaches talk about it, and he said no. And I'm going to ask you the same question. You and your staff, I assume, talk about it, or are you just looking at what's ahead in Week 9?
We really haven't talked about it as a staff at all. I'm sure some of our staff has talked to each other about it, but we really haven't because there's nothing you can control about it.
Right.
Right now, our focus is worried about playing Mohawk on Friday. So
yeah, Drew Pasteur projects you'll finish 7th with a 38% chance of hosting Margaretta out of the SBC River Division. So we'll see how that plays out. Another home game would be nice because that'd be 3 in a row to go into the playoffs, and there's 2 plus a playoff game.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, if we take care of business, and that's a big if, we'll obviously put ourselves in a good situation.
Mohawk coming to town this week. Eric Daniel is their head coach. 3-5 overall, 3-2 in the Northern 10 Conference. We talked about it off air. We had it on our radio airwaves last week. Tough loss up at Seneca East. Little controversy there. They fall 34-31 on the very last play. They average 18 points a game, give up about 24. They rush for 132 a game, throw for 151, and average 283. Total offense lowest in the N10. But they have some dynamic players, don't they?
They do. First of all, Mohawk's program, year in, year out, tough kids, great defense, run the ball well, always have an athlete. I've told our kids this and probably made some of them mad, but arguably Zayden Fry's one of the best players, if not the best player in the N10 conference. Statistically, him and Mason Foose are putting on big numbers, and he was a great player last year. He's a great player this year, and they have other players around him. They got the Hannum kid. They've got the Bogner kid. They've got a lot of nice players around them. Their kids run to the ball well. They're well coached. Ton of respect for what they do and how they do it, and they run the program very well.
Give it up 156 on the ground, 119 through the air, 275 overall. Do you feel like maybe you can be more successful on the ground or through the air? Is it just going to be whatever adjustments they do, you'll adjust against?
They are always really good against. We struggle with them offensively every year. They play a very sound 3-4, and they're very staunch and disciplined in their running game. And so we always struggle with it. And they always have wrestling type kids that are they're not necessarily big, they're quick, and they're well coached and they're disciplined. So I would love to say we're going to run the ball over them and we're going to throw the ball. It's always a tough game against Mohawk.
Going into week 9, health wise of the team,
it's as good as we can be. I got Brady Hill back today from his cast. So it seems like we gain one, we lose one, but it's football. Kids are hurt, hamstring here. Those things, you can only do what you can at this point. But you got your sophomores and your freshmen that have almost a year under their belt now, so you're starting to see some improvement from them, and some of those kids can replace other kids and do some things. So we hope to see that growth.
Very good. Well, we will talk about the Mohawk game next week. You are the WBCO game of the week, so we look forward to talking about that. Just as with Gallion, you'll be bringing your coaches next week. We'll be talking about how they feel their position group has done this year as we get ready for Week 10 against Buckeye Central at home, and then on into the playoffs. Thanks a lot for coming tonight.
Thank you, Mike.
Good luck this week. We'll be back with the Gallion golf team headed to state right after this timeout.